Hi, today we're going to talk about solving inequalities. Solving inequalities is honestly very similar to solving regular equations. There's just a couple little extra things we need to pay attention to. So let me show you. For example, if I have an equation, negative 3x equals 12. That's the equation that I need to solve. The way I always like to think of it is I draw my wall on my equal sign. Whatever I do on one side of the wall, I have to do the exact same thing on the other side of the wall. So here I have a negative 3 times x. What's the opposite of multiply? Divide. So I have to divide by negative 3 because the goal is to get x by itself, right? And so on the other side of the wall, I have to do the exact same thing, which is divide by negative 3. Well, negative 3 divided by negative 3 is a 1. 1 times x is just x. So I have x equals 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. X equals negative 4, that's solving an equation. And I could even plot that point on a number line. Negative 4, negative 3, negative 5, and that would just be like a dot. Boom. That's if I really wanted to. That is how we solve an equation. Let me show you the couple little changes that happen when it's an inequality. So let's take the same thing, negative 3x. Let's say it's less than or equal to 12. So yeah, it's the same thing, just a different symbol. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to draw my wall around my symbol. And I have a negative 3 times x, so I'm going to divide by negative 3 on both sides, same as before. And same as before, the negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. 1 times x is just a plain old x. 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. So far, it's been exactly the same. Here is where it is different. Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, you change the direction of the sign. So right now, it looks like it's an arrow pointing at the x, or sometimes I think of it as an alligator and it's eating the 12. Well, I need to flip the direction of the sign. So now that alligator needs to eat the x, and that arrow needs to point at the negative 4. Now I can't forget that line underneath as well. And I can also graph it on a number line, plot it on a number line, same as before. But last time it was just a single dot. Well, this time in inequality, this means x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Because of this equal sign, I can do a colored in dot. Okay, if it was just greater than, I would just do a circle like this instead of a colored in dot. But let me just get rid of that. And now I have to look at x is greater than negative 4. Remember, this alligator eats the bigger thing. So that means my arrow has to be pointing so that x and everything it points at is bigger than negative 4. So negative 3 or negative 5, which one of those is bigger than negative 4? Negative 3 is bigger, so my arrow points in this direction. So that is how you do an inequality. Now, all the variations of this will include, like, we have greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Those are a colored in circle with your arrow going in one direction or the other, depending on the equation. Or we have just a plain old greater than or less than with just an open circle and your arrow going in whatever direction it is supposed to go to. So that is the difference between solving equations versus inequalities. Now, I will point out that this is only, changing the sign is only for multiply and divide. If I like subtract a 3 on both sides or something, that does not change the direction of the sign. Only multiplying or dividing. That is inequalities.